Now live from the Cake Studios, this is Cake News on your side at 10.
Tonight, new video of the moment a man opened fire outside an Old Town nightclub, killing one and injuring 5 others.
Plus,
it's hard to fathom. Your body goes into shock and disbelief.
An exclusive interview with the uncle of the man who died, who says he was loved by everyone who knew him.
And the search for the man who pulled the trigger, and the search for answers as to why he started shooting. Cake News at 10 starts right now. And first tonight, that stunning video showing exactly what happened.
A neighboring business captured the moments when the shots were fired just after 12:30 this morning. Take a look. You see a group of people near the top right of the screen out on the sidewalk in front of Enigma nightclub on Mosley Street when a man with no shirt fires 5 shots into the club. He then moves and fires 4 more. Here's another look with full sound.
You see people in cars immediately scattering from the scene. Wichita police say the man firing those shots is Keyshawn Dawson. They say this all started when Dawson was kicked out of the club earlier in the night, then returned with a gun and fired into the building. 34-year-old Preston Spencer was killed. 5 women were hurt. Detectives say they were able to identify Dawson thanks to all the surveillance technology in Old Town, like this video, which has now been turned over to Wichita police. And we have heard over and over from those who knew Preston Spencer that he was as good of a person that anyone could ever want to know. And one of those people saying that is his uncle. Cake's Eli Higgins is live in Old Town tonight with the exclusive interview. Eli.
Yeah, David, like you said, while doing this story today, there was no shortage of people saying how amazing he was. Hundreds of people saying how he touched their lives. Now, take a look. This is where it happened. Right now, there are some candles lit and some flowers on the floor over there. And tonight, for the first time, his family is speaking out, saying it's an unimaginable loss.
Our last conversation with him last night was full of jokes and laughter, and that's just the way he was.
Keith Spencer says his nephew Preston Spencer's voice was one of the last things he heard Monday night before falling asleep. Just a few hours later, he got an unthinkable phone call.
It's hard to fathom. Your body goes into shock and disbelief, and you're just trying to process the words that are coming out of someone else's mouth. That's just unfathomable.
Preston was out with friends at Enigma Club and Lounge in downtown Wichita when he was shot and killed just moments before Keith says he was heading home.
That's part of the shock and disbelief is just trying to wrap your mind around how someone that is so well liked and loved and who cared about everybody could die at the hands of random violence like this.
Keith says Preston never knew a stranger and had no enemies. He was a family man, adored his wife and 2 children, and worked selflessly to make everyone's life around him better. He worked at 12 Restaurant and Bar for the last 5 years. Keith says while there's no easy way forward, the top priority is Preston's wife and kids.
Most important thing for us is making sure that his family is taken care of, his wife and his 2 young kids. I mean, my great nephew's asking for his daddy. And how do you explain to somebody that's 5 years old that dad's not coming home?
And Keith says if you want to help the family, the best way you can do that right now is by donating, if you want, to their GoFundMe. Now, for a link to that page and to donate, just go to cake.com and click on this story. Live downtown, Eli Higgins, Cake News on your side.
And tonight, police are still searching for the suspected gunman in the case, Keyshawn Dawson, a 23-year-old with a lengthy criminal history.
Wichita police say the man in this security video firing 9 rounds into the Enigma nightclub is 23-year-old Deshaun Dawson. You see him open fire, then run from the scene. Dawson has a lengthy criminal history, convicted in juvenile court 3 different times, dating back to when he was just 16. Then just a few years later, when he turned 18, Dawson pleaded guilty to possession of a firearm by a convicted felon felon. Then the same conviction a year later. In each case, court documents show Dawson violated his probation, leading to more charges. In this warrant for Dawson's arrest, it shows he often goes by the name Lil Blood and is involved in gang activity. And finally, just a couple of weeks ago, a judge issued another warrant for Dawson's arrest for failure to appear in court for his sentencing. Now he's wanted for murder.
And we contacted Dawson's mother tonight. She says she has no idea where her son is, and she declined to comment on the shooting at the nightclub. And
stay with Cake News for continuing coverage of this morning's fatal shooting in Old Town. Watch for updates on air and online at our website, cake.com. New at 10 tonight, the Mays School Board has voted 5-2 to require masks for students and staff in kindergarten through 6th grade through October 11th. Student athletes who've been diagnosed with COVID need a doctor's note to return per Kansas State High School Activities Association guidance. Alarming new numbers tonight show children now make up more than 1/4 of the weekly COVID-19 cases nationwide. The American Academy of Pediatrics says more than 250,000 child cases of COVID-19 were reported this past week alone. That's the largest number of child cases since the start of the pandemic. But even though there are more cases, it says reports of severe reaction are still uncommon.
And checking the latest COVID-19 numbers now from Sedgwick County, there are 364 new cases since Friday's report and no new deaths. The county's positive test rate has increased just a little to more than 9%. The Department of Agriculture says workers on farms and at meatpacking plants who were severely affected by the pandemic will be eligible for grants of up to $600 per person as part of a new $700 million aid program. It hopes to offset some of the costs workers bore, as many bought their own protective equipment or took unpaid leave, but were required to keep showing up for work. About 1,100 Evergy customers near 21st and Rock in Northeast Wichita are coping with a power outage tonight. The outage was first reported just after 5 o'clock this afternoon. The cause has not been determined, and Evergy does not have an estimated time for it to be restored. Well, I guess if you're going to be without power tonight might be the good night.
It's certainly better than some other ones we've had lately. And Jay Prater tells us we are really headed for a dip in those temperatures, Jay.
That's right. Tomorrow morning is going to feel absolutely fantastic in Wichita. Let's go back yesterday. Look out west. Look at that. It got up to 99 in Norton and 89 in Wichita. High temperature today was 94. It was still hot. It was still humid. But look at the improvement across northwest Kansas. Highs were only in the 80s because a frontal boundary was coming through. So if you start at noon, upper 60s, that's still moisture you could feel outside. Watch the drier air filtering in. The dew point's now in the upper 50s. You step outside right now, you're going to notice the change in the air mass. So much more comfortable. Now, where that drier air is continuing to filter in, that frontal boundary still popping up thunderstorms just south of Sedan now in Chautauqua. And as soon as that exits Cakeland, that's going to be the only storm chance for the rest of the night. Let's look it off down towards the southeast to see if we could see some of the lightning from those thunderstorms over in Chautauqua County. So far away, not picking up on the camera right now, but it's 78, but the dew point's 58. It got as high as 72. That's why it's going to be a fantastic start tomorrow. 62 degrees, sunny, comfortably cool, 79 at noon, and tomorrow will be a very seasonably warm day, 86, but with the dew points in the 50s, it's going to be awfully nice. Now, things are going to warm up a little bit ahead of the next cold front. That's all on the planner coming up, David.
All right, thank you, Jay. Wichita police tonight are asking for help finding 12-year-old Aubrey Collin of Wichita, who was reported to have run away around 3 p.m. today. She was last seen in the area of 11,700 block of East Waterman. If you see Aubrey or know of her whereabouts, you're asked to call 911. A Harper County man has been sentenced to nearly 14 years in prison after being convicted for 3 child sex crimes. 56-year-old Jason Spooner of Bluff City was sentenced to 167 months. He pleaded no contest in July to the crimes that took place in March of last year in Harper County.
Federal help now on the way for people in 8 states affected last week by Hurricane Ida and what was left of it. Coming up.
And next, new focus this year on the state's September 11th memorials. We take you to some of them and explain what makes them so unique. We're back in 60 seconds.
This is Cake News at 10 with Deb Ferris, David Scott, your Cake First Alert forecast with meteorologist Jay Prater, and sports with Chris Lilly. Cake News on your side.
We will never forget, it's been almost 20 years now, but by the first anniversary of the September 11th attacks, the first memorial had already sprung up in Kansas.
Adding more every few years, now in at least 12 different cities across the state. The memorials themselves, though, aren't the story. As Cake's Pilar Pedraza shows us, it's what's in them.
A huge explosion now raining debris on all of us.
This may have happened thousands of miles from anywhere in Kansas, but it became personal for many as they helped stranded flyers.
We were just in the air and they announced that there was a national emergency and that we were going to have to land.
Or learned of lost loved ones. Within a year, memorials began popping up across Kansas, beginning with Dodge City's Liberty Garden, each with special ingredients, pieces of the wreckage from the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, even the United Flight 93 crash site in Pennsylvania. The biggest, perhaps, in Overland Park.
Is a 14-foot, 2.5-ton steel artifact.
But it wasn't just Kansas's big cities. Hutchinson has one.
It's hard to get a grasp on that for me, actually for anybody. State of Kansas, it doesn't seem like it would be a big to-do around here.
And so does Little Anthony, Kansas in Harper County.
We thought this could be one thing that we could actually do that would make a difference.
But the TSA in Kansas had perhaps the most ambitious plan, a memorial in 8 Kansas airports. Not just a bare chunk of metal, but part of a specially designed symbolic sculpture.
We wanted to make a big statement, but we all wanted to be able to see it and touch it and feel it.
I would like to speak with either Mr. Bruce or Brent Bitter regarding a project that I'm working on with a piece of World Trade Center steel.
More than a decade later, Bruce Bitter still has the voicemail that changed his life, a request for his and his brother's small-town metal arts company to design and create September 11th memorials for those airports.
And as I was talking to him, I was looking at the eagle I had on the wall with, I think I have an idea on this, what we could do.
His first reaction to seeing the actual steel beam he'd be working with repeated by others.
It was a very eerie feeling.
Getting to see a piece of the World Trade Center and feel it, there's a whole new type of feeling that you get.
To see a piece of steel that big and that thick that's literally been torn open was just, it was a catastrophic thing.
The Bitter Brothers' first design unveiled at the Wichita airport for the 10th anniversary of September 11th, featuring a partial flag with 9 stars and 11 stripes, and an eagle clutching the I-beam from the World Trade Center in its talons. The basic elements repeated in each airport memorial, but each one unique.
If I get close to a town, to the airport, I want to go stop and take a look at it.
These memorials designed not only to touch you, but for you to touch them.
When you're able to see a memorial like this, and you're able to reach out and you can put your hand on the piece, it gives you a connection, a sense of connection. And that's something that you don't get by watching television.
A steel-bound reminder across the state to never forget. Pilar Pedraza, Cake News, on your side.
And you may have noticed the cloth flag that was added to the eagle's talons. Airport officials tell us it was added by passengers.
And while the airport never takes it down, sometimes it does fall out or passers-by remove it. But the eagle's talons are never empty for long. Within a day or so, someone has usually put a new flag in its place. And coming up in sports, highlights as the Wind Surge start its final homestand of the regular season and look to make a playoff push.
And the governor of Texas signs into law his state's controversial new abortion law. Coming up, what he says about legal challenges it's sure to face.
Now, your Cake First Alert forecast with meteorologist Jay Prater.
And as we go back over to Cake's First Alert Doppler HD, the showers, the thunderstorms are just almost out of Cake Land now. See, they're just between Chautauqua and Caney, and once that moves across the border, we're going to be done with any kind of shower, thunderstorm chance within the state overnight tonight. It has become clear over Wichita. The Kansas Aviation Museum at 77. And the dew point's down to 59 degrees. Can't stress enough. It was 72 earlier this afternoon, so that's why tomorrow morning's going to feel fantastic when you wake up. Even in hot 73, the dew point's down to 58 degrees. We go up to Salina, the roof of KSAL. We're at 73 with a dew point of 56. We go over to Hayes, 70 with a dew point of 56. Southwest Kansas and Garden City, it's 68 degrees, that dew point of 52. And in Goodland at Renderfield, the dew point's in the 40s. That's 46 degrees. It is 64. It is kind of crisp outside across the Northwest. 78 right now at Eisenhower. National at 73 at Augusta Municipal. Also in El Dorado, 67 at Dodge and 73 in Liberal. But dew points, and dew points is the key to the comfort. 40s and 50s. Look at that. The only 70s left across extreme southeast Kansas. 72 right now in Chinook. And tomorrow, even that is going to be much drier. The winds were pretty gusty earlier today, especially across the western half of the state. That's all settled down for the rest of the night, and you get a break from the gusty winds tomorrow. Let's go back over the past 12 hours. Round one of some thunderstorms popping up ahead of the front, and then there's that final round as it continues to exit Cake Land. You'll notice the front kind of light up in Oklahoma, back into parts of Missouri. It just took its sweet time getting through Kansas before it was able to pop up those thunderstorms, and now that they're gone, it's just going to be clear tonight. Tomorrow, we're going to have plenty of sunshine. We're going to do it again on Thursday, but temperatures are going to start rebounding on Thursday. Tomorrow morning, just delightful. I mean, mid-50s to around 60 at 7 o'clock in the morning. You're still in the 70s at lunch, and tomorrow afternoon, highs are going to be widespread 80s. They're not going to be any 90s. They're going to be widespread 80s. Even on Thursday morning, another delightful start to the day with mid-50s to around 60 degrees. But notice Thursday afternoon, we're starting to get that rebound. We're already back into the mid-90s across parts of western Kansas. Now, Friday, tomorrow I'm going to kind of dig through the record books. There's the potential a few records across western Kansas for high temperatures could be in jeopardy. As far as heat index, it's just not going to be a thing tomorrow. Look at it tomorrow afternoon. What's on the thermometer is pretty much what you get. Thursday morning is going to be fine. Thursday afternoon, going to start feeling a little more across western Kansas, getting those heat index values back up into the mid-90s. So for Wichita and south central Kansas tonight, becoming clear, cool, down to 60, 57 in Hutch, 61 in Winfield and our Kansas City. And then tomorrow it's going to be a cooler day. It'll be a less humid day, 86 degrees. 87 in Hutch and Medicine Lodge, and the winds out of the northeast at 6 to 12 miles per hour. Then we start rebounding. 90 on Thursday, 98 Friday and Saturday. Next little front comes through, only knocks it down a couple of degrees. And then between Monday and Tuesday, a little more potent front gets the high back down closer to 90. For north central Kansas, tonight, clear, cool. 55 Hayes and Russell, 56 Salina, Great Bend and Abilene. Seasonable tomorrow, back in the mid-80s. Less wind. The wind's out of the west 5 to 10. 90 Thursday, then mid-90s Friday, and again on Saturday. You cool to 90 on Sunday, warm slightly, and then it's upper 80s with a lot of sunshine on Tuesday. And for western Kansas tonight, the gusty winds we had earlier, that's all settled down. Look at this, lower 50s to upper 50s tonight. Tomorrow, seasonably warm, mid-80s, upper 80s, a break from the really gusty winds. Now for southwest Kansas, 96 on Thursday, but there's Friday. I got to look up to see what records potentially are in jeopardy there. Isolated storm chance with the front that cools it back down to the lower 90s by Sunday. Starts warming again Monday, and then upper 80s behind another front on Tuesday. And for northwest Kansas, 96 Thursday. Again, some records could fall on Friday. Got to be close. Isolated storm chance Saturday would cool to the upper 80s by the end of the weekend, and a little isolated storm chance again on Monday, and behind that front I think will cool back down into the mid-80s. Umbrella winner tonight from Wichita, Cherry Davison. When asked, why would you like a yellow umbrella, says, in need of umbrella. Speedy Cash says, you have the need, we have the umbrella. Wants to help you out, but first you got to go to cake.com/contest to put your name in the hat. David?
That is one of the shortest reasons I've heard so far. Still to come tonight, the surprising legal moves made by Britney Spears' father.
President Biden today touring areas in New York and New Jersey hit hard last week by the remnants of Hurricane Ida.
He's now approved major disaster declarations in those states, plus Louisiana and Mississippi, where many are still without power. 4 people are still missing in New Jersey, and the death toll is now at least 69 across 8 states.
I want to talk a little bit about the things you think you would need, not just to get back to normal, but to get back to a place where if it happened again, the damage would be considerably less.
Officials in Louisiana have now revoked the licenses of 7 nursing homes after 5 seniors were found dead amid scorching temperatures. Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed into law his state's new bill that prohibits abortions once medical professionals can detect cardiac activity. Now, that usually happens around 6 weeks. He says that he'd be astonished if it's not challenged in court, but is confident it will be upheld.
Britney Spears' father has filed to end the court conservatorship that has controlled her life and money for 13 years. James Spears filed his petition saying if she believes she can handle her own life, she should get that chance. The judge in the case still needs to approve that move.
Rodriguez.
FCS teams have had a hot start to the year. Coming up next in sports, Chris Kleiman says to never underestimate the underdog.
Now with sports from all across Cakeland, here is Cake Sports anchor Chris Lilly.
With only 12 games left in the regular season, the Wichita Wind Surge sit in first place in the AA Central. The Surge with a little wiggle room as the top 2 teams will play each other in the postseason for a league championship. Wichita hosting Northwest Arkansas tonight. Cole Sands on the bump for Wichita, and he's been so solid all year. Does it again tonight. That breaking pitch is lethal, and he commands it well. He goes 6 innings, punches out 5, and allows just 4 hits and 1 earned run. Surge down 1-0 in the 3rd. DJ Burt on 3rd. Austin Martin at the plate. And they'll take it any way they can get it. Martin beats out the throw on a check swing. Burt scores. And we've got a tie ball game. Sands getting some help on defense, too. You don't run on Roy Morales. Check out the no-look tag from Burt. He had a day. That's a saucy play right there. One more look at that. Surge had a home run robbed, and the game still tied in the 7th when Andrew Bechtold comes to the dish. Robbed this one. Naturals Bechtold with an opposite field back bomb. And Aaron Whitefield gives the insurance run in the same inning. Surge get that 3-1 win and stay atop the AA Central. Love to see it. Royals in Baltimore. The Orioles have the worst record in all of the MLB. And KC starter Jackson Kowar struggling out of the gate. DJ Stewart smacks this one to deep center, and Michael A. Taylor running after it. Loses where he's at, smacks into the wall. Michael A. Taylor, and the A stands for effort. Orioles up 4-0 off that home run. Taylor would be okay, stay in the game. And Taylor would get redemption in the 5th. He has the diving catch in center field, very far away from any stationary object. He gets the out there. Orioles hit 3 home runs, though, and win this one 7-3. K-State looked really good in its season opener, not only beating Stanford, but stifling Cardinal on the way to a 24-7 win. With the victory, the Wildcats started to get some top 25 votes. K-State hosts Southern Illinois in the Bill this weekend. And the Salukis play in the football championship subdivision. But the FCS doesn't mean the teams are less. 6 FCS teams have already notched upset wins over FBS squads. Chris Kleiman is familiar with the subdivision, winning 4 national championships at that level. He says there's just a lot of parity in college football right now.
There's a number of games that probably could have been won by FCS teams as well. And being at that level for a while myself, those are big games and big opportunities to make a statement and prove that you belong with the Power 5 schools. And, you know, we talked, Bradley Moore was a really good football player for us last year. And you get a bunch of guys like Bradley Moore on your football team, you have a chance to win, and because of the belief that they have.
I mentioned that top 25. Here's the full list. Alabama still number 1, but Georgia makes a big jump to number 2. The Bulldogs were previously number 5, but that was before they beat Clemson. Ohio State, Oklahoma, and Texas A&M round out the top 5. Iowa State and Breece Hall, number 9. Texas, 15. K-State Wildcats, they got 13 votes, and if my math is correct, that's good enough for 36th. So a nice opening win for them. And as of note, Coastal Carolina, number 17, that's KU's next opponent. They travel there next this week for week 2. So yeah, tough test for the Jayhawks.
On the games this weekend, Chris?
Let's just keep the fun going. Lots of wins all the way around. Let's keep I couldn't tell you the last time KU and K-State both got a win on the same day, at least 2019.
Yeah.
So yeah, I keep that rolling. Chiefs season opener as well against the Browns at home.
That's a victory.
Let's go 3 for 3.
Yeah, you don't really know what to make of K-State. Stanford isn't ranked, but they're still Stanford.
Yeah,
that's a pretty decent team, and they pummeled them.
Year in and year out, held them to only 7 points, which is crazy. Defense looked awesome. Could be a fun year.
That could be a good year. Yeah.
I was just still thinking about the flex on the no-look tag.
Yeah, DJ Burt.
That was impressive. All right, let's talk about tomorrow. Impressive. Got that line of showers and thunderstorms. That is about out of Cake Land. And once that's gone, it's all about the fact that the air is going to be cooler and drier. 62 at 8. Fantastic. Even 79 at noon. That's going to be comfortable because the dew points are going to be in the 50s. Sunny and seasonable. The high, 86 degrees.
Good lawn mowing day tomorrow.
There you go.
Thank you, Jay.
Good luck.
You have something to say?
No, that's it for us. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 4:30.
Kimmel is next on Cake. Be good. Be safe.
For up-to-the-minute news and weather, stay connected to Cake News with Facebook, Twitter, and Cake.com. Cake News, on your side.